How to play chess. First, let's look at the pieces, and it all begins with the pawn. The pawn can only move forward. In the starting position, it can move 2 spaces, but after that, it can only move 1. If the pawn reaches the end of the board, it can become any piece you want, except for another pawn or a king. Pawns capture pieces diagonally, and only capture pieces that are 1 diagonal in front of them. Pawns can also do something called en passant. This is when one pawn moves from its starting position 2 spaces, and then the pawn opposing it captures it on its diagonal. Next is the knight. The knight can move in an L shape. It can move both forward and it can go backward. Next is the bishop. The bishop can only move diagonally and only on the color it started with. It can move in any range on the board, whether it's backward or forward. Up next is the rook. The rook is a piece that can move all across the board, whether it is forward or backward or right to left. Now for the most powerful piece, the queen. The queen has the same movement as the rook plus the bishop combined. This means the queen can move backward or forward in any direction, or it can move anywhere diagonally as well. And the final piece is the king. The king, by far, is one of the more useless pieces in chess, since it can only move in one direction as shown on the board. But the entire objective of the game is to not get it captured and to capture your opponent's king. So it is still quite important. The king can also do something called castling. This is when the king moves from 1 space and 2 spaces over, and then its rook will move beside it. There is kingside castling, which is the shorter castle, which is what white did, and then there is queenside castling, which is the longer castle, which is what black did. Now that you know how all the pieces move, let's get into playing the game. The general rule of thumb in chess is to develop all of your pieces in the beginning and not to move the same piece more than once, unless you have to. Now, as you can see, both black and white are going for the center, which is what you are supposed to do. You want a strong and controlled center. So right now, both black and white are bringing out their knight and their bishops to develop their position. To have a strong position, you want all of your pieces attacking and played outwards, which is what both of the positions are doing. Now, black has already castled, but white doesn't have to also castle the same direction, because it can also go the queenside castling, as you can see. Now, both black and white are equally developed and have very safe kings. Here's a very easy chess trap that many beginners fall for. It is called the scholar's mate. It starts with pawn to e4, and black might go pawn e5. Then white will play its bishop to c4, and black might go knight c6. White will then bring its queen to f3, threatening checkmate on f7. If black doesn't see this, white will checkmate on f7 with its queen. In order to improve at chess, I would highly recommend an app called chess.com. Inside of the app, you can learn more about chess, learn lessons about chess, do puzzles, do the daily puzzle, and play games. Now that you know the basics, go enjoy playing chess. Thanks for watching.